Hey besties, okay, just to preface, I am aware of the glaring watermark in the middle of the screen. I just needed a very easy to use and free screen recorder. Anyways, this is just going to be a very quick tuning tutorial. Since a voice bank or a Vocaloid is trying to replicate the human voice, which isn't naturally in tune, there needs to be a certain degree of editing that takes place in order to make your vocals sound good. And tuning is basically just the edits that a producer makes so that their vocals don't sound flat. The software I'm using is Peer Pro Studio for V4X, and the voice bank that I'm using is V4 Flower. So V4 Flower is a Japanese vocalist, but I'm using her for Spanish because I don't have any Spanish vocalists. Anyways, just to show you the difference that tuning makes, I'm going to play this whole part tuned and untuned. So this is what it sounds like untuned, with like very minor phonetic edits, but for the most part, untuned.
Tú me robaste el corazón como un criminal. Esto que siento por ti no puedo ser legal. Criminal, criminal. Tu estilo, tu flow, baby, muy criminal. Criminal.
Yeah, so that sounds decent, I guess. And here's what it sounds like tuned. You can already see there's a big visual difference. This red line is the pitch curve, and it is going in all sorts of funky directions. This little green one over here is the vibrato pitch curve. Yeah. So here is what it sounds like tuned.
Tú me robaste el corazón como un criminal. Esto que siento por ti no puedo ser legal. Criminal, criminal. Tu estilo, tu flow, baby, muy criminal. Criminal.
So you can already tell that sounds a whole lot better. Okay, so I'll just go back to this one part here. I'll be tuning this section. So first and foremost, I like to set my grid snapping from 1/16th to 1/64th, which makes the grid super tiny so that I can work meticulously with the notes. Second, I open up the parameters gender factor, brightness, and clearness. So let's start with gender factor. Gender factor is basically the highness or the deepness of a voice. The lower the gender factor, the higher the voice, and the higher the gender factor, the lower the voice. So V Flower is a female vocalist, so I like to set her gender factor down, but I only set it down about 45% because I want her to retain some of her androgyny. Brightness is basically like the muffled quality of a voice. The lower the brightness, the more muffled it sounds. I always turn it all the way up for all of my vocalists. It kind of just like helps with any mumbling they may have. It also helps like make the voice sound more energetic. And clearness, I use it because of the reverb that I add. It can sort of muddle the vocals a bit. So I turn my clearness up to 40. So we can close those, and we'll open up pitch bend sensitivity and pitch bend. So pitch bend, let's take the little pen tool here. If I draw some funky little shapes in the pitch bend parameter, you can see the pitch curve mimics that. And let's see how those sound. Yeah, they basically do that. And I always set mine up to 5. And you can see that makes the pitch bend sensitivity, I set it to 5. You can see that like dramatically affected the pitch bending. Yeah, so we won't be using this. I'll use it only to like add glides or to like do things that I can't really do well with just cutting up the notes and placing things down or up. So let's just move on to how I actually tune. I take the split tool here. The keyboard shortcut is K, and I cut off the first 64th of a note. I use the selection tool here. The keyboard shortcut is 1. And then I take this and then just drag it down a few halftones. And you can see it has a curve in the pitch curve. So it makes it glide a bit more so that it doesn't just like attack the note straight on. And because a lot of vocalists lose power when using the dash phoneme here, I just set this to the previous like sound. The dash phoneme carries the last, like the previous vowel. I don't use it often. I only use it for notes that I need to lose power on. That won't be happening here. Anyways, yeah, so this adds a curve here, and it makes the note kind of glide up. And for things that have like 3 in a row, like not much, like not many words all together in the same on the same note, like these are all A2s. It's only 3, so I don't need to worry about making them sound different. But if there were like a bunch of them together, like 6, I would find a good place to add a little dent in the pitch curve, cut the first thing off, and only set that down like to like max, not max, it depends, but usually around 2 halftones down, and then fix this. But it doesn't really matter here. For long notes like this, I don't cut off 1, I cut off 4 64ths. And then place this down, max 2 halftones down. Fix this. So you can see it kind of goes like, it makes it glide. And this is just a personal preference. I cut this off, and then I cut that off, so that this note jumps directly to this note, so that it doesn't really have time to like add extra glide. Yeah, so it sounds a bit robotic, but that's fine. When it comes to like notes like these, like to extend this note, I don't fix it, I leave it as a dash, because it doesn't really have any effect. But yeah, I'll like tune the rest of this and then explain things when I'm done. Okay, so I have this all tuned, and I'll just explain a few things that I didn't explain in this area. So usually if I have a bunch of notes, I'll have the first 64th be the same as the previous note, but sometimes I set it up a bit more in order to, like, for lack of a better word, give it sort of a whiny sort of quality. Yeah, so it has more of a glide upward, and then it goes back down to the normal note. And then over here, I dipped into the pitch bend parameter and made the last like bit of that note go upwards. Yeah. Yeah, so it kind of adds a little like effect there. Let's hear how it sounds all together. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This was a horrible tutorial, but yeah, I'll explain things if you need more explanation.